Vesta. We'll wait just about 30 more seconds to see if we've got some more people jumping on and joining us for today's creative demonstration. I hope you all are having a good week. Mine has been a little bit up and down, but overall productive and good. We're enjoying some nice weather, nice sunny weather today in Ohio. It's a little chilly. It was about 40 degrees on my walk this morning, but getting out and doing it. Usually I can do about 0.8 of a mile and start feeling it in my back, but at least I'm doing a little bit, and that makes me feel good physically, mentally, emotionally, and when I do that little bit for myself, it kind of motivates me to then jump into my work and have a productive day. So today, before I start the project, and I'm going to be showing you how to make cut and flip fun fold cards, okay? Cut and flip fun fold cards. I like to show cards that are easy to make, but end up being wow cards, things that really show off our products and are not hard to make, but leaves the person receiving your card saying, wow, okay? Before we get to that though, I want to give a reminder that we are in, well, we have less than a week of the last chance lists. Those go away after April 30th, and then we're going to jump right into our 2024 to 2025 annual catalog. And ordering from this starts on May 1st, okay? Many of you have already received a catalog from me. Number one, if you placed a Stampin' Up! Order of at least $50 with me in the last 6 months, or if you requested a catalog from me. If you don't have access to a catalog and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you're working with, I would love to earn your business and would gladly send you a complimentary catalog. All you have to do is go to stampinpiece.com, click contact, fill out that contact form, and then let me know that you are requesting a new annual catalog from me. And we can get started on our Stampin' Up! Journey together right from there. Please note, I do not send catalogs to Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. Each demonstrator has received one from the company, okay? Let's see, what else? Oh, I want to mention now, before I get into the projects and forget, and I will try to put this in my next newsletter, I will be on vacation April 29th through May 4th. Emily and I are going to Mexico for the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. We're so excited. Can't wait to just relax and enjoy each other's company in the sun. And therefore, I will not have any Facebook Lives that week. However, I have been working diligently on creating a couple of videos for you, and one of them will be my catalog walkthrough that I usually do with you on launch day, pointing out some new things in the catalog, showing you some of my favorites, that sort of thing. So that will air on May 1st. It just won't be live. It'll be a pre-recorded video, okay? And that's it. And you'll definitely want to be checking out stampinpiece.com and my YouTube channel while I'm gone, because that's where you will see the new posts and new videos that I'm creating to, that I've scheduled to launch that week while I'm gone. Okay, let's get into today's creative demonstration. And I'm going to flip my camera around now. And while I'm doing that, I ask that you share this live video and invite others to join us this afternoon. And if it helps, you can even tag your friends right in the comments and it will bring them right to our site. There we go. The Facebook buttons were a little slow to react. All right, the first thing I want to do is introduce you to the Unbounded Beauty Suite, which is new in our new annual catalog. And this is what I call a mega suite. It has 2 bundles, meaning 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets, okay, 2 bundles. So this is the one, and I've pulled out some of the dies that I'm using this afternoon. So Flowers of Beauty, and then Unbounded Love, which is excellent for a wide range of sentiments. And then look at these dies. And these are dies that you can use with any of your sentiments, okay? Then, I'll put this here. Then I will show you the DSP, Unbounded Beauty DSP. And I want to tell you that in this designer series paper, it does come as a pack of 12 by 12 sheets. And it has all of the in colors represented in it, plus some Berry Burst, that dark pink. So it's florals and leafy patterns, and then just some different watercolor washes with stamped backgrounds, okay? And then there's another pack of paper in there, and this is the 2024 to 2026 in color glimmer paper. I love this. None of that shiny, glittery stuff. In fact, we don't even call it glitter. We call it glimmer. It does not rub off at all. I can even do this. Okay, and it's that teeny tiny little bit, but basically it doesn't rub off on your cards. It's not going to be making a mess in your craft room. And there's 1 sheet of each of the in colors represented in that glimmer paper. I think I just knocked that a little bit. All right, today I'm going to be making 2 cards. They're basically the same card sketch, card layout, same fun fold. It's just that I'll be changing it up a little bit for the second one. I'm going to try and move this and get rid of that glare. I don't know if I can. Almost. Thank you all who joined me today. I'm so happy you're here. I love what I do, especially being able to share with you. I'm going to use 1 sheet of the Summer Splash cardstock, one of our new in colors. I'm going to have it in the vertical position, or I'm sorry, horizontal position, and I'm going to score at 5.5 inches, okay? And then I'm going to turn it to the vertical position and cut at 4 1/4. And these will be my card bases, okay? So all I did was score and then cut the opposite direction of what I usually do with the A2 cards. The next thing I want to do is cut off, and you kind of want to think about what's the front of your card, but I'm going to cut off 3 inches from the end. So I have this, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one since I have my trimmer out. cutting 3 inches off of that, and I'm going to set this aside for the second card. So for my first card, and I'm using 2 different patterns of the Unbounded Beauty DSP. The first one measures 2.5 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to adhere this to that front flap of my card base. And I just realized I did not burnish my fold there, so let me do that. And then on this piece, remember we cut off the 3 inches from the end of our card base. So this will go on to the front. And this piece of DSP measures 4 inches by 2 3/4. 4 inches by 2 3/4. Oh, come on. Now, just to make it easier for me to see the edges of this top piece, sorry, I think I was just out of the frame a little bit. I'm going to add my white to the inside of the card base first. Having that white behind my layers will make it much easier for me to center that piece on the top. And I want to put it on just like this. Now, I want to caution you to be careful about where you're putting your adhesive when you flip this over. And I'm going to give you a tip right here. When you flip this over, put some adhesive on the back of the left edge of that piece, and then along this right edge of the small flap. That way, it guarantees that you get a nice hold, but there's no adhesive where you don't want it. And we're so used to putting adhesive on an entire piece, it's easy to forget that, even when we know it. So I like to use that little step or tip to remind me to be careful of where I'm putting that adhesive, and then it works every time. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the card base for my second card. Again, I have the same size card base. We cut 3 inches off this end as well. And these are the 2 patterns I'm using for this. One difference I'm going to make here, and this is the difference for the fun fold. This is how you can use this fun fold in 2 different ways. Make one card horizontal, and you can make one that's vertical. So my 4 by 2.5 inch piece, or so, I'm sorry, 2 1/4, is going to go on that top flap. And then this piece, which is 2 3/4 by 4, will go on the piece of cardstock that I cut away. Again, I'm going to want to put this so that it's centered on my card front. I guess you don't have to. You could do it lower like that if you wanted, but I want mine to be centered. And again, if you put your white in first, it'll be much easier for you to see to center this top layer. And I'm going to use the same technique I did before of applying my adhesive along the edge of that flap, and then I want it at the top, or one edge only, of my layers. And now I'm ready to center. I think that looks pretty good. So that is the basic cut and flip fun fold card, okay? I used all these same measurements. I just turned the orientation for the second card. Now let's finish these off. I'm gonna do it like this. I've got all kinds of things out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is die cut using these Flowers of Beauty dies, okay? And this just gives me the shape. There's no stamp that matches this exactly, these dies exactly. There are stamps that match some of these other ones though. So it gives you a nice variety, which I always like. I feel like I get more bang for my buck when I can use my products in a variety of ways. And of course, I like to share that with all of you. It doesn't do any good for our products to sit on a shelf because we don't know how to use them, or we aren't feeling inspired, whatever it may be. And I think the more ways we learn to use our products, the more we enjoy them and enjoy creating with them. Come on. There we go. I just need a little edge, and then I gently pull up on my die cut piece. So there's one. And I'm going to go ahead and do the second one right away. Oh, I've been kind of clumsy this morning, or not this, it's afternoon, I should say today. My hands don't want to always cooperate with me. All of the dies in both of these bundles can be used in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So if you have one of those that you like to keep handy, you know that. And again, just gently pull that out. I'm going to poke out these few pieces that are in there. And then I want to show you that I also went ahead and die cut a bunch of flowers. And I did that with these two dies, okay? So each of these cuts out 8 flowers. And the one is, I'd say about, well, 5/8 inches, and then the other one like a 1/2 inch. So I cut some of those out in 2 colors, the Petunia Pop and Pretty in Pink. And then I even cut some from the Petunia Pop Glimmer paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and guess why I chose white for the foliage? Anybody know why I chose white? I'm sure you do. It's because it stands out. I was first going for a green, and I thought I would do Summer Splash, but that was too much of the same color on the card base. And then I thought, well, I'll change it up just a bit and go with Shy Shamrock. But instead, I thought, no, I really need something that pops. And if you're ever in that situation, there's probably lots of choices, but my go-to would be white and black. But in this case, I went white, and it kind of reflects the designs of the Designer Series paper. So I'm going to adhere these with some multi-purpose glue Remember, a dot is a lot. Use this glue very sparingly. When people say they don't like the multi-purpose glue, it gets sticky and icky, and it's typically because they're using too much. So keep in mind, a dot is a lot. A little goes a long way. I learned that phrase, a dot is a lot, from my friend Jackie Mayer, who is a retired kindergarten teacher. And that's what she taught her kids. So I'm sure she was forever hearing that phrase for 33 years from lots of little people. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add some flowers to each of these. And notice how easy it is to make the cards together side by side, even though the cards are different, because I'm using all of the same supplies and products. So on this one, I'm going to do 3 of the large flowers, and I just put a dot of glue where I want them. I want to make sure I get the right side. Sometimes we get those grooves when we're die cutting from our very used cutting plates. So I want to make sure I'm flipping those flowers to the correct side, so we get the smooth side up. And then I'm going to add just 3 more tiny dots, 1 to each of these larger flowers. And now I'm going to add some of these small glimmer flowers right on top of the larger. Who was with me for Tuesday's Facebook Live? Remember, we made the window card, and then we used, here's the window card, and then we used the die cut circle to make a second card, and I couldn't find the 2 packs of embellishments that were out, and I said, oh, they always turn up. They will, I'm sure they'll turn up when I clean up. No, they didn't, and they're still missing. I have no clue. And it was 2 different embellishments, and there was more than 1 pack of each, and I had them all rubber banded together. I have no idea where they could be at this point. I've looked everywhere. I've even looked in my retired product section because I pulled out things that are retiring, and thought maybe somehow I put them in there. But yet all the other card supplies, everything else was right where I had left it. So I have no clue. I did a lot of different projects last week, and all I can think of is maybe they got put in one of the class to go bins. So I do need to look through there. But yeah, of course they wouldn't turn up. And this one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to go for 5 flowers here. And I'm going to do a combination of the large and small. And I think that I really don't want to use the pretty and pink. I think I just want to use Petunia Pop. I will use the pretty and pink ones for something else. So I'm going to do 2 large and then 3 small. And because I want a little fancy on the first card by adding glimmer paper, I want to do something to add a little something more here. So I'm going to use the In Color resin dots. Oops, I have one that's opened. See, I'm doing it again. This is silly. Oh, here they are. Here they are. The tale of the missing embellishments. Who said that too? Oh, just order more, then you'll find them. Exactly. I'm sure that's what will happen. How about if I add, do you think the petal pink to the centers of the flowers? Or would you go ahead and keep it monochromatic and add the petunia pop to the centers? Any thoughts? You could go really wild and add the peach pie. But I'm leaning towards Pretty in Pink or Petunia Pop. Kathy Kelly says Pretty in Pink. So that's what I'm doing. I'll do a large one on each of the large flowers. Okay, so now that we have our flowers put on and a little bit of extra bling or embellishment, you know, do you think this needs something more? I feel like it does. Maybe, I think I'm going to put 2 plain ones there, 2 small plain ones. Have you ever used your take your pick tool this way to place small die cuts or punch pieces? Maybe even stickers if you, or things you cut from your die cut machine, to place things exactly where you want on a card or a scrapbook page. And for these, I am going to use the small Petunia Pop resin dots. Okay, I think I like that better now. All right, the last thing we need to do is add some sentiments to these. And here are the sentiments. Okay, I think one, I'm going to use the happy birthday and die cut it. And this, some of these dies do really cool things. I was going to stamp and die cut the sentiments earlier, and then I thought, well, I want you to see what some of them do. And, whoops. I think for this one, I want something kind of long. Let's see, have a blessed day, feel better soon, never give up. I'm going to go, oh, you are loved. I'm going to go with you are loved. And for each of them, I'm going to stamp in Petunia Pop. Well, where is it here? You are loved. Here it is. My fingers were right on it. And I've got some scrap paper already. I'm going to put my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath because I'm working with a photopolymer set, and you know that we get better stamped images and sentiments when using photopolymer stamps if we have something soft and cushy underneath. And And then I'll do the happy birthday. And those both look good to me. How many of you are loving the new in colors? Fabulous, right? I can't say enough good things about this set of in colors. I love them all, as you can probably tell from my recent demonstrations. I'm going to get these white things off before I die cut my sentiments. And I'm going to cut both of these at once, so I'll use my Post-it tape. Amazing colors, yes. Make sure you hang on to the end till I give you the code word for this demonstration or phrase. Code word sounds so, I don't know, official, businessy. What's another phrase we can use? Because as I often do, I will be giving these cards away today. Look at what this one die does. It cuts out both a frame and a solid piece. And then this one just cuts a solid piece as usual. So let me add these to my cards. Of course, I'm going to be using some dimensionals because that's the way I roll. Well, can't get it. So I'm going to put this right here. Oh, I'm going to go over it even a little bit more. Okay. So that card is finished. And then this one I'm going to put right about there. Now, let me tell you about this. If, say, for example, I could have moved this over, what I could do is glue the frame down, and then I can insert this, but have it popped up on dimensionals for a little variation there. So some of the dies in that Unbounded Love bundle cut things out in a special way. So that's always fun. Also, with that set, you have a lot of opportunity to mix and match. For example, on the one I just used, let me pull it up here. On this one, maybe on a future card, I will cut this out as a background, perhaps in a color. So then I would have my sentiment on white cardstock with a color background or colored layer behind it. Here's ovals that you can layer. Just lots of fun. That might be a new go-to set for me. Die set for cutting out sentiments. Deciding if I want it there or want it off a little bit. I kind of like it off a little bit. As long as oh good, my dimensionals aren't showing on the back side. So here are two examples of the cut and flip fun fold card. One horizontal, one vertical. All the same supplies, but two completely different cards. And It hardly took us any time at all. It took me any time at all. Think of all the talking and explaining I was doing along the way as well. Let me show you my samples. Again, they're very, very similar, but just different enough. Okay. So on this one, I have my sentiment on top of the layers instead of coming off the layers a little bit. And then I used large and small petunia pop die cut flowers. I put large resin dots on the large flowers and small pretty and pink resin dots on the small flowers. And then on this one, I just did 3 flowers, and they are layered a large petunia pop cardstock and then a small glimmer flower on top. Okay, so what do you think? Who's going to spend some time in the next few days making a cut and flip fun fold card? Anybody? I sure hope so. And again, these are kind of wow cards that were so easy to make. And that's what I love to do most. Easy to make wow cards. Great. Oh, Barbara, thanks for joining me. Barbara and I spent part of yesterday together. She lives about an hour and a half northeast of me. And she was a follower of mine for a period of time. And at some point, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, she mentioned that she had been in Columbus, and we talked about that. And then she knows I'm a big Buckeye fan, and she said, well, there's a coffee shop near her that serves a frozen Buckeye drink. And I'd go to a crop up in Amish country once a year. And actually this year will be twice. But we basically made a connection that way. And unfortunately, Barbara recently lost her husband. And I was trying to think, what can I do for her? And I decided to drive the hour and a half to her place. We went out to a nice lunch, and we visited a quilt shop, a fabric shop, and just spent some time talking and reconnecting. And as we were driving back to her house, she mentioned about her upline and who she really just connected with the first time she talked to her. And we had a little discussion about, isn't it wonderful that something like Stampin' Up, simply stamps, ink, and paper, is so great for making connections. When I think about it, really, that's what it's all about for me as a Stampin' Up demonstrator and me as a fellow crafter. So when I ask you to invite people to my channel or that sort of thing, it's because I want to connect with more people, because I do feel a direct connection with all of you, especially ones that are watching quite frequently. And if somebody had told me 10 years ago we could connect and make friends online, I would have thought they were crazy. But that truly is one very good thing that came out of the internet, and especially during COVID periods. So I'm very grateful for that today. Okay, if you would like to have your name put into the drawing to receive one of these cards, please type in the comments now, Unbounded Love. Unbounded Love. That's the name of this stamp set and coordinating dies. The suite is Unbounded Beauty, as is the DSP. And the other coordinating bundle is Flowers of Beauty. But Unbounded Love. I love it. I love it. I think it's gives us fun. I love the font, first of all, especially this happy birthday. I love the fonts used, And I like too that we can mix and match some of the stamp sets, some of the words and phrases. So it's definitely going to be a go-to set for me. And again, anything in that new catalog is available for people to order starting on Wednesday, May 1st. All right, everybody, it'll be, I won't see you until about 10 days or so, 12 days from now, because I'll be on vacation next week. And then, but you can see me by tuning into my YouTube channel, Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe, or going to stampinpiece.com, my blog, because I have some some posts that will come up next week while I'm gone. All right, have a great day and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.